Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Pocono Downs here on Saturday. It is October the 27th, 2018. It's Breeders' Crown Night from Pocono, and I'm going to look at all the Breeders' Crown races. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Also, join me next week for my Breeders' Cup preview video here on YouTube. But Breeders' Crown today at Pocono looks like a great card. 15% takeout across the board. It looks good. Everything's pointing good except the weather, but at least we have some, it's good races here. So let's get on to it. We have a lot of races to look at. I'm going to look at all the Breeders' Crown races, so basically races 3 to 14, so everything but the first two races. So let's get on to it. The third race from Pocono, it is the Crawford Farms Breeders' Crown 2018 final for the 2-year-old fillies. It's a 1 mile pace here, going for a purse $600,000. Field of 9 pacers traveling 1 mile here. Top selection, I like the 4 horse. Where are we on Butte? I'm going to go 4-2 in the exacta. 4-2 exacta, top selection of 4 horse Warwe on Butte, 2-year-old filly by Sweet Lou, Ron Burke trains, Yannick Gingras in the sulky. The horse's most recent outing came to the limbs last week here at Pocono. The horse finished 4th by 3 1/4 lengths and had a wide post draw, had to be used early, got the lead at the midpoint, then just weakened out of it. It was a tough race from the outside. I think from the inside today, this week, I think he'll do a lot better. That's why I like him a lot. Before that, in the In-Stallion at Lexington Red Mile, 5th of October, the horse won by 2 3/4 lengths, sat back early, but had a great turn of foot, and 1:48 3. It's the horse's best time, and it was the best time in this field by multiple seconds. It was a really good race there. And then the Kentuckiana at Hoosier the week earlier, the horse won by 2.5 lengths, so 1:51 3. It was a really good race there, getting the lead at the midpoint and just coming home clear. It was the speed from the inside today. Throughout the last run, I really think this horse should do well. The pick 4 begins with this race, which is 40,000 guaranteed, 15%. I'm going to single this horse to begin it off, so watch out. So to recount my selections for the third from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old filly final. Gonna go with the number 4 horse Warwe on Butte. I'm gonna go 4-2 in the exacta. So now let's get on to race number 4 from Pocono. It is the Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings, going for a purse of $600,000. Field of 9 trotters traveling 1 mile. My top selection here in the trot 2-year-old final, I like the number 5 horse Chimpanzee. I'm going to go 5-1 in the exacta. 5-1 exacta, top selection of 5 horse Chimpanzee. 2-year-old colt by Chapter 7. Marcus Melander trains. Brian Sears gets in the sulky. They qualified, eliminated this horse last week here at Pocono on 19th of October in the fast going. He won by 1.5 lengths, and from a wide post draw, he sat back early, but had a great turn of foot, and he got there in the end. It was 1:54 4, which wasn't the most impressive times, but he got the job done there. Before that, the Meadowlands in a qualifier, he finished second, but he had a good final quarter mile there. It wasn't the world's worst qualifier for him. And then before that, his last pari-mutuel in the New York Sire Stakes final at Yonkers, September the 22nd, he won by a half length, almost on lead all throughout, had a very easy victory. And then a few weeks earlier at Vernon in a Sire Stakes, horse won by 3 lengths on the 7/8 of a mile track. He just had a great time at 1:54 3, his best time of the year. A good inside post draw today, 2-1. There's not a lot you could do with that on paper, but he's a good horse here, and I like him, so watch out. In the multi race, I'm going to use the 5, and I'll use the 1 horse also, Hudson River. I think that horse could possibly give me a price if Chimpanzee doesn't show up in the pick 4, so watch out. So to recount my selections for the 4th from Pocono Downs, it's the Breeders' Crown Trot 2-year-old final. Gonna go with the 5 horse Chimpanzee. I'm gonna go 5-1 in the exacta. I'll go 5-1 in my pick 4 also. So now let's get on to race number 5. Race number 5 from Pocono. It is the Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old filly trotters. Field of 9 trotters traveling 1 mile here, going for the purse of $600,000. Top selection, I like the number 4 horse Cloud9 Fashion. I'm going to go 4-8 in the exacta. 4-8 exacta, top selection of 4 horse Cloud9 Fashion. 2-year-old filly by Muscle Hill. Jim Campbell trains. Timmy Teatrix in the sulky. The horse's most recent outing came last week here at Pocono in the limbs for this race. He finished finished third by 1/4 lengths. From the outside, tried leaving off the gate and got second, and just sat second most of the race. Never got the good kick, but it was probably need the race. I think today a little better post draw, should handle the sloppiness. I think he could improve off the last run. Before then, the in-stallion at the Lexington Red Mile, 5th of October, he finished third by 1/3 lengths there, and he just never had the good turn of foot. Never got there. It wasn't the day to win. And then the Bluegrass at the Lexington Red Mile, 28th September, horse won by length. From Y post draw, sat back early, but got a great final quarter mile there, and got there. Good race, 1:55.3, the best time for this horse ever. And then before that, at Tioga and the Kindergarten, horse went by 1.5 lengths. Again, sat back early, closed up well. It was a really good effort. This horse is versatile. It could come from behind or could sit a little bit closer. I think here sitting a little bit closer should help. And I think at 12-1, he's a horse you definitely want to use. So he's a horse. He's a really good horse for my pick for, because you need to find a little bit of a price. Some of the races might be chalky. I think this race is very wide open. I think the other horse I have in my exacta is a horse I'm definitely going to use in my pick 4 is the 8 horse, the Ice Duchess, 2 fleet by Muscle Hill here. Jimmy Tactor trains Yannick Gingras in the sulky. This horse ran the limb for the race last week at Pocono. He had a good second place finish there. Couldn't catch the winner when Discover, who's running back in this one, who had a hell of a race on the front end. This horse, he just closed up well. Wasn't a bad race. And then the in-stallion at the Lexington Red Mile finished second behind When Discovery. Again, decent turn of foot, and then basically was almost undefeated there. Only slight pause in the running was between the slight pause in the horse's running lines of the last few runs. Finally got there, was a horrible race at Mohawk in the Champion, where he broke before the gate, and it just wasn't the day to win. But I think here he's gonna have to overcome a wide post draw. Maybe people will get afraid with the wide post draw with him. Maybe his odds could go up to 9-2, 5-1. If I see that, I'll be happy. But he's a horse who's definitely good enough to win. I'll use him on my pick 4 also. So to recap my selections for the 5th from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old filly trotters. Gonna go as a top selection of 4 horse Cloud9 Fashion. I'm gonna go 4-8 in the exacta, and I'll use 4-8 in my pick 4. So we're going to head over to race number 6 now from Pocono. The 6th race, it's the Breeders' Crown Final for the 3-year-old filly Pacers. Field of 9 Pacers traveling 1 mile here, going for the purse of $500,000. Top selection in this one. I like the number 3 horse, Double A Mint. I'm going to go 3-9 in the exacta. 3-9 exacta, top selection of 3 horse, Double A Mint. 3-year-old filly by Better's Light. Ronnie Burke trains. Dave Miller's in the sulky. The horse's most recent outing came the 20th of October here at Pocono on Sloppy Go now, and the Breeders' Crown a limb. The horse finished third by 1.5 lengths. From the inside, stalked most of the race and just never had the good kick. But, watching the limb, it looks like, Dave Miller wasn't really trying. That's why I don't bet on limbs, because the drivers don't really try as their hardest. Personally, if I had the decision, I would make a limbs non-betting, because I don't like him. But it was an okay race. But before that, he ran the Tattersalls at the Red Mile, 6th of October. He won by 4.5 lengths, and from the outside he stalked early on, and then he just had a great turn of foot, 1:47.3, a very fast mile that afternoon. The track was fast at the Red Mile anyway, but this horse had a very good race there, and all around good efforts. And then before that, in the Bluegrass at the Lexington Red Mile, he finished 4th by 2.5 lengths, stalked early on, but just couldn't get Kissing in the Sand, who had a hell of a race there on the front end. But I think coming here inside post draw, I think this horse could possibly catch Kissing in the Sand. She's used on my exacta ticket also. She's a horse definitely good enough to win, and I'll use her on the pick 4. But I want to find a bit of a price here, and I think Double Mint could close up well. I'll use her as a top selection. So to recap my selections for the 6th from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Final for the 3-year-old filly Pacers. Gonna go with the 3 horse Double A Mint. I'm gonna go 3-9 in the exacta. To race number 7 now. Race number 7 from Pocono here on Crown Night. It's the Breeders' Crown Final for the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings, going for a purse of $500. Field of 9 trotters traveling 1 mile. Top selection here. I like the 5 horse 6-pack. I'm going to go 5-1 in the exacta. 5-1 exacta. Top selection of 5 horse 6-pack. Single in the multi race. I just think he's very good here. Akish Van Stent, part owns part train. He trains this one and he drives this one here. This horse had the most impressive limb last week here at Pocono. He limbed in by winning by 3/4 length on lead all throughout, 30 cents a dollar. 153 and 2. It was a very easy race there. Before that in the Kentucky Futurity at the Red Mile, 7th of October, second heat, he won by 1 3/4 lengths and in 149 and 1. It was a very good effort there. And then before that, the Kentucky Futurity limb, the horse won by a neck, 150 and 2. It was a very good effort also there. Before that, won the Sire Stakes at Yonkers very easily, and won the Yonkers Trot very easily. And the only subpar race for this horse came 2 starts in August, where he ran an absolute crap race in the Zweg at Vernon, and then in the Hambo limb, we all know the crap race he ran there because he came in on the top of the lane, and just did not run well there. Go watch the replay, you'll understand. But he's a better horse since then. He should like the 5/8. He's a good poster. I just think he'll really run a big one, so watch out for him. Single in the multi-race. So to recap my selections for the 7th from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Trot Final for the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings. Going to go with the 5-4-6 pack, single in the multi-race. Going to go 5-1 in the Exacta. So now let's get on to race number 8 from Pocono. The 8th race, it is the Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings Pacers. Field 9 Pacers, traveling 1 mile. Top selection here. I like the number 2 horse, No Mas Amor. I'm going to go 2-4 in the Exacta. 2-4 Exacta, top selection of 2 horse, No Mas Amor. Linda Toscano trains this 2-year-old colt by Sweet Lou. Mackie Haley's in the sulky. The horse's most recent outing came here at Pocono last week in the limbs. The horse won by half length, closing up from mid-pack. Had a very good final quarter there, and it was a very good effort. Before then, the In-Stallion at the Lexington Red Mile, 6th of October, he won by 2.5 lengths, and again, closing up well in 149 and 1. Best time ever for him, and it was a great effort. And then the Bluegrass at Lexington Red Mile, he finished 5th by 4 1/4 lengths. That was his worst race probably to date. He never got the good kick and never just got into the race, but I like him a lot here from the inside. 9-2. He could set the pace if he wants to, or he could come from a little bit behind. I think Mackie Haley knows the horse better than I do. He has options with him. Watch out for him to run a big one. So to recap my selections for the 8th from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings Pacers. Gonna go with the 2 horse, No Mas Amor. I'm gonna go, where are we? I'm gonna go 2-4 in the Exacta. I'll go 2-4 in the pick 4 also. To race number 9 now on race number 9 from Pocono. It is the Breeders' Crown Final Open Trot here. Field of 9 trotters traveling 1 mile, going for the purse of $500,000. Top selection here. I like the number 2 horse, Dunbar Hall. I'm gonna go 2-4 in the Exacta. 2-4 Exacta. Top selection 2 horse, Dunbar Hall. Jody Jameson's in the sulky on this 4-year-old gelding by Dewey Cheatham and Howe. The horse's most recent appearance came at Pocono last week in the Crown of Limb. The horse finished second by 3.5 lengths. He stalked most of the race behind Top Flat Angel. He had a decent run there. It wasn't the world's worst race for him. I think today, again, with an inside post draw, I think he could, Jody Jameson could possibly be a little aggressive with this one. And, I think that aggressiveness can get this horse the victory. Before that, this horse is running in preferreds at Mohawk or Woodbine Standard, or whatever the fuck they call it. But most recently, 2nd of October at Mohawk in the preferred. He finished 4th by 1.5 lengths there. He just missed at the end. He had a great final quarter. It wasn't the world's bad run. And then before that, in the preferred at Mohawk, sloppy going. He broke that day at the midpoint and just couldn't recover after setting the pace early on. Wasn't the day to win. And then the preferred a week earlier at Mohawk, he finished second by a half length. Again, he closed up well there. It wasn't the world's worst race for him. And then before that, Mohawk in the preferred, he won by 1.5 lengths, but he did possibly, brush some of the horses there, but he still got the victory. My thoughts about him is he's going to run a massive race or he's not going to run at all. 20-1, I'll take my chances. This is the time for Jody Jameson to be very aggressive with him. So to recap my selections for the 9th from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Final Open Trot. Going to go with the 2 horse Dunbar Hall. I'm going to go 2-4 in the Exacta. So now let's get on to race number 10. Race number 10 from Pocono. It's the Breeders' Crown 2018 Final for the mares, pacing mares. Field of 9 mares, pacing, going the 1 mile trip. Top selection here, a single in the early in the pick five here, which has a guarantee. What do you call it? Guarantee payout. I'm gonna use the two horse Charton, and I'm gonna go 2-9 in the exacta though. 2-9 exacta. My top selection though is, and a single would be the two horse Charton N, 5-year-old mare by Triffin in the Triton in America. Excuse me, can't see it for a second. Timmy Teatrix in the sulky in this one. The horse's most recent outing, he limped here at Pocono last week, and he won by a length from a wide poster, sat back early, but then walked afterwards on the front end. A very good, easy race there. Before that, in the Alaraj at the Red Mile, 7th of October, horse won by 3/4 length. Again, early on, sat back, got the lead, took off clear. Very good race. And then at Chester, Philadelphia, non-winner, or excuse me, winners of over 25 last few. The horse won by 3 1/4 lengths there. Another very easy race. You know, two back horse had the best time of his career, 140 and 2 at the Red Mile. You know, has been running well all year long. You know, won the Liberty at the Meadowlands very nicely. Won the Art Escape at Tioga very nicely. I just think this horse should run a massive race again. And you know, 5-2 is not a lot you could do, but she's a single in the multi-race, so watch out. So to recap my selection for the 10th from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Mare Pace Final. Gonna go with the two horse Chartonin. Gonna go 2-9 in the exacta, single the two horse in the pick 5. So now let's get on to race number 11 from Pocono. The 11th race from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Final for the 3-year-old fillies trotters, going for a purse $500,000. Field of 9 trotters traveling 1 mile. Top selection here, I like the 3-horse Atlanta. Gonna go 3-1 in the exacta. 3-1 exacta. Top selection 3-horse Atlanta. Scott Zerons in the sulky, the Strio filly by Chapter 7. The horse's most recent outing came in the limbs for this race last year, and horse won by 3/4 length. Another easy victory for this horse on the front end. You know, it was a 153-1, which wasn't the most impressive times, but she got the job done there. You know, before that in the Kentucky Futurity at Lexington, the horse won by length. Again, on the lead all throughout. Had a very good run, and then finished second in the Futurity at Lexington. Before that, in the Elim, just couldn't get the good closing kick behind Plunge Blue Chip, who I have second in the exacta. But you know, this horse won the Hambo final very nicely, but then had a little bit of a drought between the Hambo and the Kentucky Futurity. But since then, the horse has been really gearing up. I think with a good inside poster here today, I think this horse is the fastest by a mile, and I think she's going to really run a big one. Watch out for her here today. So to recap my selections for the 11th from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Final for the 3-year-old filly trotters. Going to go with the 3-horse Atlanta. Going to go 3-1 in the exacta. I'm going to try and find maybe a little bit of a price. If Atlanta doesn't show up, I'll use the 1-horse Plunge Blue Chip in my pick 4 also. So 3-1 in the pick 4, excuse me, pick 5. So now let's get on to race number 12 from Pocono. It's the Breeders' Crown Final, 3-year-old Colts and Geldings, going for a purse of $530,000. Field of 9 pacers traveling 1 mile. Top selection, I like the 4-horse, think big, dream big. I'm going to go 4-7 in the exacta. 4-7 exacta, top selection of 4-horse, think big, dream big. 3-year-old colt by Better's Delight, Jimmy Tactor trained, Gianni Jingras and Sulky. The horse's most recent outing came last week in the Elims here at Pocono, where he finished second by 1 1/4 lengths there. He stalked most of the race, and he just never had the good kick. I think coming here today, a little wider posture, I think that should really help this horse a lot. Before that, the Red Mile and the Tattersalls, the 7th of October, he finished 4th by a half length. He set the pace early on, but then he just didn't have a lot for the final quarter. He just weakened out of it. Wasn't the day to win. And then the Bluegrass at the Red Mile Lexington, won by 3/4 of a length, almost on lead all throughout. Had a very good mile there in 148 and 2, his best mile ever. I like him a lot here. He should like the 5/8 of mile track, and you know, I think the favorites in this race are a little vulnerable. So 5-1, I think it's going to be good value for your pick 5. That might pay a little chalky in places. So 5-1, that's going to be good. I'll use him here. So to recap my selection for the 12th from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Final for the 3-year-old Colts and Gelding Pacers. Going to go with the 4-horse Think Big, Dream Big. I'm going to go 4-7 in the exacta, go 4-7 in the pick 5. So now let's get on to race 13. 13th race from Pocono. It's the Breeders' Crown Final for the mare trotters here. Going for a purse, $250,000. Field of 9 trotters, traveling 1 mile. Top selection here, I like the 5-horse Emoticon Hanover. Gonna go 5-8 in the exacta. 5-8 exacta. Top selection of 5-horse Emoticon Hanover. 5-year-old mare by Cadabra. Dan Dubé's in the sulky. Last week, this horse limbed and won the limb by 3/4 of a length at 152 and 4. Again, wasn't the most impressive times, but stalked early on and just got there in the end. A good race. Before that, they ran this horse in a preferred at Mohawk, where he finished third by 3/4 of a length, and he just never got the good kick. It wasn't the day to win. First on 3 weeks, maybe need the race, but just need that extra kick. And then the Mercy Versatility at the Delaware County Fair on Jug Week. The horse finished 7th by 5.5 lengths. Set the pace early on, set some quick fractions there, and just couldn't keep up at the end. It wasn't the day to win. Then ran around the tight turns there, and then before then the Maple Leaf Final at Mohawk, the horse finished 7th. Really just had a horrible trip, but I think coming here, good posture from the mid pack. I think he can possibly get to Ariana G, who I think is also loaded, but she has to overcome a wide post draw. But 3-1, I'll take my chances with this one also. So to recap my selection for the 13th from Pocono, it's the British Crown Final for the older mares here. Gonna go with this top selection of 5-horse Emoticon Hanover. I'm gonna go 5-8 in the exacta, 5-8 in the pick 5. So now let's get on to race number 14, the nightcap on Crown Night at Pocono. The nightcap on Crown Night from Pocono, the 14th race. It is the Breeders' Crown Final Open Pace, going for a purse of $430,000. Field of 8 pacers, traveling 1 mile. Top selection here, I like the 3-horse McWicked. Gonna go 3-2 in the exacta. 3-2 exacta. Top selection of 3-horse McWicked. The 7-horse by McArdle. Casey Coleman trains Brian Sears in the sulky. The horse is most recent out and came to the Dan Rooney at Yonkers a few weeks ago. 1 mile, 13th of October. Horse won by 4 lengths. Sat back early, but had a great middle move, and then he just took off clear. A very good effort there. Before then, the Alaraj at the Lexington Red Mile, 6th of October, he won by 3/4 length. Great final quarter there, 146 and 2. It wasn't as fast as a few years ago, in the world record of 146 flat, but he still ran a great effort, closing up well there. It wasn't a bad race. And then the Dayton Derby in Dayton, Ohio, 20th of September. Horse finished third by 2.5 lengths. Never got the good kick there. Had a wide poster, which probably cost him there. And then the Hoosier Park Pacing Derby, he finished second by a neck behind Lazarus. He was coming at the end, but Lazarus just held on. And then his win before that came in the Canadian Derby Canadian Pacing Derby at Mohawk in early September. He won by 2.25 lengths, really having a great turn of foot. I like him a lot here today. He's a good post draw, 5-2. It's a crap price, but he should run well. And a multi-race pick 5 to end it off. I'm going to use both horses, McWicked and Lazarus. I think it's a 2-horse race between those two. But to recap my selection for the 14th now from Pocono, it's the Breeders' Crown Final for the Open Pace. Going to go with the 3-horse McWicked. Going to go 3-2 in the exacta, 3-2 to end off the pick 5. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKit5.